Diabetes mellitus is a group of metabolic disorders that presents with high levels of blood sugar over a prolonged period of time. There are symptoms that we can identify if we notice such. Increased thirst, increased hunger, frequent urination. According to the World Health Organization, over 371 million people the world over have diabetes. What is critical at this point, what is pertinent, why we have chosen this topic at this time is that 187 million people are not aware that they have diabetes. Wow. Perhaps you know someone who presents with some familiar symptoms and is not aware that he or she may have diabetes. If diabetes is left untreated, it can present with some complications. Heart disease, stroke, heart attack, foot ulcers, kidney disease, damage to the eye, and lots more. That tells us that we must check it. We must go for a checkup to know if our symptoms lead to diabetes, and that way we can begin treatment. Welcome to Wellness and Living. My name is Thelma Obaze. Our topic today is diabetes. You know how we like to do it on the show. We like to go out and talk with you, to know of your experience, to know your thoughts on the matter, and then we present your responses so that everyone can see, everyone can learn. We did that as usual. And according to Stephen Covey, if you really want to change your situation, the best thing to start with is that thing that you have control over, which is yourself. When you get this information, it can enlighten you, and then the change can begin.
Diabetes as a result of too much sugar, excess sugar in the blood. And it causes, you have two types, type A, type 1, type 2. Okay. And what causes it most may not be likely known. But the fact is that those who take carbohydrates too much usually fall victim.
Though in my family they say the diabetes is something that is hereditary. In my family where I come from, I'm an Igala by tribe. We have it in the family. But with this sensitization they are giving to people, we minimize it. Something that like sugar, avoid it. Something that you know that you cannot take it, that you cause harm to your body, you avoid it.
We have this feeling that whatever happens to your father or your forefather, it will definitely come to you. But now, well, for some people it might, because it's a communicable disease somehow. So what do we do? If it's a communicable disease that goes from one's dad or one's mom to another, I think it's just to take a precaution or how to guide against it if you happen to be in that lineage where people have such sickness.
Diabetes is preventable if we take less sugar. If we could go on honey instead of taking the normal sugar. And if we could reduce our intake of carbohydrates, more of carbohydrates, or on the other hand, if we could eat anything we eat moderately.
You know, we live in Africa, and this saying in Africa that most sicknesses and diseases that our forefathers had when they were alive, or those that are still living, that their children tend to inherit those things. But as a Christian and as a cleric, I don't think it's hereditary. It's primarily based on how you take care of yourself.
Yes, there is hereditary diabetes. Most times you see people in their family that has diabetes. You just see it reoccurring in the family. It's hereditary.
But I felt that whether it's hereditary or not, it can be prevented. And the proper solution should be gotten to make sure that either sugar intake or proper information should be spread to people on how to stop diabetes.
If government can pay much attention on those people that have the problem of diabetes, I believe that the problem will be solved.
For every ailment, there's a medical professional who knows a bit more than you and who can direct you in a positive way. He can tell you when to start treatment, if you really need treatment, and what the treatment should be. We spoke with Dr. Chukuma Onuchuku. He tells us of type 1. Type 2. He also talks about gestational diabetes. Let's listen to him.
This results from either the body is not able to produce insulin from the pancreas, or it produces it but very small and it does not act at the end organs where it's supposed to act. That is by saying that it converts sugar to the storage form. So the person might have it, it cannot store sugar. And that's why we say people that have diabetes, they suffer in the midst of plenty. The person has so much sugar in the body, but he cannot use it. There are about many types, but the major ones that we know are the type 1, the type 2, and then the one they call gestational diabetes. Now in type 1, that's about 10% of the people that have it. What happens in type 1 is that the body cannot produce insulin. Therefore, how do you manage such a patient? You give the person insulin. Now the type 2, the body produces, but not optimal. But the major problem is that the end organs cannot use that insulin to convert sugar to the storage form. Because in diabetes, what happens is that since the body cannot convert sugar to that storage form, there is so much sugar in the body, and that is what causes all the other effects that you see in diabetes. It is an inheritable disease. So assuming somebody's father or mother had it, the chances of the person having it is also there. So once you have a family member that has it, that means the onus is on you to screen, so that because the earlier it is detected and managed, the better. The major effect of diabetes is that it causes so many other complications. It goes hand in hand with other diseases like hypertension. In fact, two of them are like an unholy union. Once one is there, it can lead to the other. Diabetes can damage the eyes, it can damage the kidney, it can damage the body. In fact, when somebody has diabetes, he might not be able to control what happens to the system. If he has an injury, he might not even notice. And because the body is filled with sugar, microorganisms like sugar. So once there is an injury, it will not allow the body to heal. So that's one of the major problems. That's why you see some of them, if it is poorly controlled, it will lead to amputation of that limb. The things that you will see in somebody complains, you say, you need to watch it. Now the person will be passing so much urine. That's the one we call polyuria. Then the person will drink so much water. That's what we call polydipsia. And then the person can also lose weight. Then the person will eat so much. Despite eating so much, he will still be losing weight. So once you see those type of symptoms, then you need to watch it. The person needs to come in for screening. Now, who does it affect? Diabetes these days affects everybody. Those days we used to think it's a disease of the old. But now we realize that even children, young children, they have diabetes and can even go into coma. That's a complication of diabetes. They call it diabetic coma because of excessive sugar in the body. Now, the children, more of the time, they have the type 1 diabetes, while adults have more of the type 2. So you see adults taking oral medication for diabetes, while the younger ones take insulin, because the younger ones are more likely to have type 1, in which case the body does not have insulin and therefore needs to take injection insulin. We can't take insulin by mouth because it's a protein. So if you take it by mouth, the body system will digest it and it will not work.
the way it is going, every year we specify a day. And this is to create awareness so that everybody will know that, look, oh, this disease we used to think is for adults, now it's affecting every age group. And these and these and these are some of the complications and the things it can cause for you. In fact, for men, it's even worse. For especially men that are productive. So these are the things we need you to be aware that diabetes can cause. You need to come in for screening. Yes, there are improvements every day. Now you can just swallow a tablet and go your way. Like I told you, those days they said, don't drink Fanta. Don't drink drinks that have refined sugar. But these days, because of the level of control that has been achieved, you can take whatever you want to take. But the watchword is do everything moderately. You don't need to go taking anything excessively. Do your exercise, manage your diet, go for prompt checkup in the hospitals, because the most important thing for a diabetic, a hypertensive, you know you are going to take this drug for life. So your duty is to ensure that you visit hospital once in a while so that they are sure that things are normal. And then when you start experiencing symptoms, tingling sensations, polyuria, passing urine too frequently, drinking water too frequently, eating food too much, and losing weight, it is time for you to seek medical advice. To say one can prevent it will be going too far. That's by going into the genetics of the individual, which for now in our environment we don't have such facilities. And going there means while the baby is still in the womb, you need to check some genetic makeup and then alter the genetic pathway, because there are some specific areas in the genes that once they are affected, the person is born and might manifest it later. But what can one do? That's why they say early diagnosis and prompt treatment is very important, because if it is diagnosed early, then the person will face, of course, there are dietary adjustments you need to make. You don't need to be loading your system with excessive sugar. Since you know that, look, oh, I don't have this insulin, or maybe I don't have it in enough quantity. So you now manage your diet, because dietary management is very important when it comes to diabetes. Even those that have been diagnosed, there are some things they will tell you, don't eat. Maybe they've given you a drug or the injection, there's a certain amount. Loading it that fast will adjust it. And we don't like that adjustment, because by the time you are placed on drug or on the injection, it would have been calculated. Take morning, take evening. So that should be able to control. It's as if your body system is working normally, producing your insulin. So dietary management is very important. Then exercise so that you don't become obese. Because once you become obese, it makes matters worse. So those are the things they call the comorbid condition. You have diabetes, you have hypertension, then you're obese on top. You don't exercise, you don't manage your diet. So those are recipe for early death. So one needs to avoid this. And then, but the most important thing is the early diagnosis.
After we listened to Dr. Chukuma Onuchukwu speak, we decided to go and do some more research on our own to bring forth more information so that many of us can listen. We can unlearn what is not fact. We can relearn what is fact. We can be better informed. We can be better enlightened. We can be better educated. And we can spread the word to all those who are to know. Please listen, and perhaps you can learn something new.
Last for years or be lifelong in nature. Treatment can help, but this condition cannot be cured. Type 1 diabetes occurs when the immune system mistakenly kills the beta cells of the pancreas. Insulin is released into the body, and as a result, sugar builds up in the blood instead of being used as energy. About 5 to 10% of people with diabetes have type 1 diabetes. Diabetes of three main types: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. In the case of type 1, the immune system destroys the beta cells that produce insulin. The damage is permanent. What prompts the attack is not clear. It may be both genetic and environmental components. In the case of type 2, it starts as insulin resistance. Your body cannot use insulin effectively, and this stimulates your pancreas to produce more insulin until it can no longer keep up with the demand, and this leads to high blood sugar. Let's talk about gestational diabetes. This, on the other hand, is due to insulin blocking hormones produced during pregnancy. Some symptoms of diabetes are fatigue and drowsiness, dry itchy skin, blurry vision, slow healing of wounds, frequent urination, just to mention a few. According to the World Health Organization, over 371 million people the world over have diabetes. But an increasing number of this figure are not aware that they even have this condition. Some complications can occur as a result of diabetes when left unchecked or untreated, like heart attack or stroke, eye problems, also known as retinopathy, kidney damage, and amputations due to neuropathy. At all times, a good diet, regular exercise, and regular visits to your doctor, along with wise lifestyle choices, can prolong one's life and ensure you live a quality life. Live well, live long.
Obesity presents with very little, if any, gain at all. It makes it difficult for you to move. It makes it difficult for you to achieve your goals and objectives. You get exhausted and fatigued very easily. So it goes without saying that everyone who is obese needs to do something about it. That is being overweight and plus. You must work out. And it's even more important when we learn that when you're obese, you are very likely to get diabetes at some point in your life. We need not delay any further. The time to watch your health and take critical decisions is now. It's time to exercise. Some are doing center ball. Some are relearning an old sport and bringing it to the fore so that many can see it, enjoy it, and partake of it. Please join us.
This game was played way back in the 70s in this country, but later it became extinct. Just of recent, I took interest in it and began to search for the equipment, this particular product called Ringo, but I couldn't find it in Nigeria. I improvised this myself. So this is not the actual Ringo. I improvised this so that we can play it locally until I'm able to get real equipment.
center ball is all about, where you work out yourself. As we are female playing with guys, it's a place where we show that what a man can do, a lady can also do it, and we also try to fit in. Everybody these days is getting fat and fat, and we want to keep fit as ladies.
So how often do you do this?
I do this every Saturdays. Every Saturday from 7:30 to 10 o'clock. We are here to work out.
So what gets you interested in this center ball?
Yes, because I'm a lady of football, and I'm also a sports lady. I love everything all about sports, and I love doing it because it's what I love doing most. Even though in my school, I am a football coach in my school, so I love doing it. That's what a special thing about football.
Oftentimes, we get a renewed sense of fulfillment and vigor and vibrance when we bring to the fore issues that affect some of us. Because we're bringing you information about how you can treat an ailment and get better, so you can perform at optimal capacity at any given time. There's no better time than now as you watch us to continue to take your health very seriously. Any medical professional that you come across will tell you a diet, a healthy diet that is critical to your survival. It is critical to your longevity. What about exercise? It is critical to work out at least 3 times every week. And if you have time for more, why not? If you can enjoy your food, enjoy your beverages, why don't you choose to enjoy exercise and eating healthy at all times? We have been talking about diabetes. It is our hope that we have been able to present you with information that is critical to your survival and that of all those who are in your immediate and extended environment. It's been a pleasure spending time with you on Wellness and Living. Do join us on our social media handle, Wellness and Living at Nigerian Television Authority. Like our page, make some comments. The doors for conversation are open from sunup until sundown. My name is Thelma Obaza. Thank you once again. Bye for now.